how to have like your own little a lab at home where you're developing maybe some stuff in Docker, you have your stuff running on Kubernetes, and how would you go about exposing that publicly? Um, so like when you're away from home, you could access it. And we've all been there and done similar things. I think there are a couple different strategies to doing it. Just because that's what we do is talk about some bleeding edge type of things right now. Blaze, I think I have your next project right now, and your job is to go set up HashiCorp's new product called Waypoint, and Waypoint will give you a public URL and help manage that deployment process and make it really easy. The downside is that public URL is right now rate limited, so you can't request more than like a few requests per second or something. But I don't think that's a problem for your lab. You can also ultimately host that Waypoint URL service. I forget what they're calling it yourself somewhere else. The other thing is Cloudflare. So Cloudflare, you can set up a free account and you can use their Argo controller, and it's very easy to deploy. You just run Cloudflare D and give it some credentials, and it will manage setting up the DNS publicly for you, and then it'll expose those services inside your local network. All right, so those are the two like cool, fun, little exciting projects, but the third obvious way is something similar to what you're describing. I would avoid having to manage even doing what you had here was like um, the managing your own little load balance or any of that. I would just configure your router, your home router, to expose a port, and then assign a wildcard DNS entry to that port so that you can have multiple services behind that, and then have that port connect to the ingress of your cluster. I wouldn't worry. Then from how do you get to other things that are not running in Kubernetes? Well, I would figure that out separately. I'm not sure. You might be able to get away with using an external name service in Kubernetes. I'm not sure if that proxies it or just does something with DNS. Anybody know if external name service in Kubernetes does proxying in the ingress?
It does not. It simply acts as a DNS entry.
Gotcha. Hey, Jeremy. Good to have you.
I've used ngrok before to do that, to actually expose like a port to the internet and then map it to a Kubernetes port and then do something that way.
Yeah, that'll work as well. So I think there are a few options, but definitely the Waypoint would be the one I'd be playing with next if I had this project of exposing services locally for testing.
If I just have one quick thing that might be worth adding on,
Yeah.
like the local dev environment. I came across Endlets. It looks like someone already shared it. Endlets operator. I played around with it. Absolutely love the project. A little pricey because it was this personal use case. It was hard to justify for 200 something a month when I'm only going to use it like once a quarter at best. But sorry, 200 a year roughly for the personal license. But sorry, for the pro license. And I didn't try the free tier, but I found it to work out pretty well. I basically did exactly what you proposed: a wildcard DNS entry, set up an AWS load balancer in the local zone in LA. So you could actually, you have to do a couple things, couple nuances, but you can actually get it running in a local zone and spin up a load balancer there. So I'm in San Diego and just having that lower latency, send out that link to friends, and it was just great. Like I'm like, all right, wildcard, use the Kubernetes ingress. It heals as Kubernetes does a really good job at that, and I just do the wildcard DNS entries, just spin up services all day, and I literally just running stuff off my Mac, which is kind of nice. Yeah. And then I was on the trial. I didn't pay for it, but I'm tempted. I just wish they had a monthly plan. That was my only issue. I have to try the free tier still, but the pro, that was pretty awesome.
Used it as...
Sorry, say that again?
Oh, I was just going to say, I've used it as well. The free tier, if you don't care about HTTPS, the free tier does HTTP on port 80 just fine. And I mean, you can literally do it like right here where it says you can do it on using a DigitalOcean node for $5 a month. It's ridiculously cheap.
So the only reason I didn't do DigitalOcean is because I didn't want to use Let's Encrypt. I just liked ACM where I could wildcard it, and I didn't want to pay for cert. Reality is, it would have probably been cheaper if I just went to GoDaddy or something, bought a cert, and dumped in DigitalOcean. But the latency, because you have local zones in AWS, was really nice. Just like I'm in San Diego, not too bad to go to LA, and then from LA to like that local zone to my home, not too bad. But yeah, I just want to quickly throw that out there.
Yeah,
in case,
that's cool.
other people
That is
haven't
cool.
used them
I,
yet.
I hadn't seen that one. That's really cool.
Works great on Raspberry Pi too. If you're doing a little home lab on a cluster of Raspberry Pis, it works awesome.
Yeah.
Well, keep that in mind.